Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Night Sports Arena. Jim Bresnahan along with Mike Harmon here from the Night Sports Arena, getting ready to bring you a single game tonight in women's basketball. Southern Virginia getting ready to host Marymount, the Saints of Marymount from Arlington, Virginia. And Marymount comes in, Mike, 8-4 in the conference, 12-7 overall in the season. Your Southern Virginia University Knights 2-10 in the Capital Conference. They are 4-14 on the season, facing a tough opponent tonight that only has 8 players currently active on the roster.
Yeah, and they've been playing really well out of their last 5 games. They've won 3. One of those games against Christopher Newport, and we know how tough they can be. We look forward to them slowing the ball down. That's why they're only scoring in the high 50s, so they keep the game slowed so they can rest during the game.
We know the Southern Virginia University Knights, led by Heather Roberts, they are just trying to find a way to win down the stretch, trying to pick up their 3rd Capital Conference victory tonight. And when you look at the starting lineups, first of all now for Marymount, at one guard slot, it'd be a freshman, Leah Hurst. Then Kiki Laus will be starting at another guard slot. She's a sophomore. And then Kiavana Lacey as the junior guard, also starting tonight. Samantha Kane, big player inside, 6 foot. She's the inside post player for Marymount. And Miranda Crott, also at 6'1", playing inside for the Marymount Saints. The 5 starters for the Knights tonight: Marissa Belliston, Jamila Gambi, Larissa Conger, Ann Kuroki, and Crystal Cleveland. And so Jamila Gambi getting the start again. And I was saying before we started tonight that one of the Knights playing very well in the last 3-4 ball games, especially from an offensive standpoint, is the junior Larissa Conger.
Yeah, Larissa again is finally rounding back into her pre-LDS mission shape, both physically and mentally. It's good to see her there. I had the opportunity and privilege to coach her first year and a half here, and she's just a tremendous player.
Well, the Knights, of course, had that win against Frostburg a few weeks back. They've also got the road victory in the Capital Conference against Penn State Harrisonburg, a team they'll be hosting on Saturday. But they're playing a team tonight, again, Marymount, that is very, very good, even though they don't have great numbers.
Yeah, they're, again, very well coached. They're going to be very fundamentally sound, and look for them to try to dictate the pace of being slow while the Knights try to increase the pace and use some of their numbers.
And in the first game between these two teams back in December, it was Marymount over Southern Virginia, 82-57. Just a single game being webcast here tonight, Mike, because the men are playing on the road tonight at Marymount, so a rare occasion where the women are at home and the men are on the road.
Yeah, this is one of the flex games that back in November, the women played up there and the men played at home because the games were scheduled during exams. So we get lucky just to have one game tonight.
And we are ready to go. They're going to have to re-tip that one, though. Maybe the tip took both players a little off guard, maybe. And now the tip is going to the Knights. And a quick layup by Conger makes it 2-0 Knights. So the Knights are off and running. Larissa Conger getting the first basket. And a turnover by Marymount. You mentioned they wanted to really kind of slow it down, reduce the game a little bit because they've only got 8 players on the roster. That time, a little fast break attempt, even though the Knights have plenty of defenders back.
Yeah, again, they'll try to take advantage of anything that they can, but if nothing's there, they'll try to pull it back out. A mistake that the Knights can capitalize right now on and try to keep this momentum going forward.
There's Gambi going baseline. Nice pass to Cleveland. She'll fire and hit. And a good start for the Knights, who now are on top here 4-0. Knights trying to get back defensively. Marymount had a layup attempt, couldn't make it. Conger with the rebound. Larissa off to Belliston. Now here's Jamila Gambi. Kuroki with it. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Knights on top here with a couple of quick baskets. 4-0 Knights. Gambi, now the shot clock a factor, down to 8. And it's Kuroki with a travel. She's had a rough last few ball games.
Yeah, she's trying to do a little bit too much and not letting the game come right to her. It's nice to see the Knights scoring inside easily as they got this 4-0 lead.
You know, the Knights 4-14 of the season, just 2 wins in the Capital Conference, but it strikes me that here in the last month or so, they've just played a little looser without any feeling of pressure and a lot of eagerness to get victories.
Yeah, once you get to a point where you know you're going to play the spoiler and you can not have to worry about mistakes can cost you games, you play a whole lot easier and looser and with more confidence.
3-pointer by Leah Hurst, no good. Rebound Knights. Got a chance here for Southern Virginia to go on top by 6 or 7 early on. Belliston to Conger. Back to the right to Gambi. Doesn't take the jump shot. Passes down low to Kuroki. Now Belliston's open for a potential three. She'll fire and leave it short. And the rebound comes away to Marymount.
Now you start to see Marymount try to slow it down. They remembered how the press was put on them in the game up there at Marymount and trying to score quickly. Now they're finding out that maybe the Knights aren't going to press so much and they're going to slow the ball down a little bit.
Lacey was able to get the layup attempt. Nice pass by Karat. Pass by Gambi's thrown away. Picked off by Kiavana Lacey. She tries to go coast to coast. Nice layup, and now suddenly we are tied at 4.
And there we see live ball turnovers, how detrimental they are to the Knights.
Kiavana Lacey looks very good, very quick too.
And
she came in as their top scorer, averaging about 14 a game.
And you know they have to be in shape.
Another turnover for the Knights. Here comes Leah Hurst. Nice pass on the run. Shot good. Foul on the Knights. Chance at a three-point play. As I believe that was Samantha Kane getting the bucket. Nope, it's going to be Kiki Laus with the bucket, and she will be going to the foul line to try to complete a three-point play. And suddenly a 6-0 run by the Saints after the Knights jumped on top 4-0.
You know, and maybe the Saints have caught the Knights by surprise, thinking that, hey, they have been slowing it down. Now they're trying to speed it up and just catching the Knights by surprise and not getting back on defense.
7-0 run by Marymount to go from a 4-0 deficit to a 7-4 lead. Knights trying to get some offense after a couple of quick baskets. Played nearly 3 minutes here. It's going to be Conger firing, and she can't hit, but there's a rebound for Kuroki.
Smart play, bring it back out.
Trying to get it down low to Crystal, but a bad pass off her fingertips out of bounds. Turnover Knights.
Just not a great passing angle there, and should have taken another dribble down toward the baseline to increase that passing angle. Jim.
Also looks like from time to time here defensively, Crystal's going to be facing double team defense from Marymount.
Oh yeah, when you're averaging a double-double over your last 5 games, you're going to draw a lot of attention.
The Crystal comes in leading the Knights in scoring and also in rebounding. About an 11-point average scoring-wise, 9 rebounds a contest. Here's a shot inside by Kane, no good. Here come the Knights trying to fast break, but they don't have the numbers, so Belliston will slow it down a little bit. Well, you can attest to this throughout the evening, Mike, about a couple of years ago playing with 7, and Marymount's only got 8, and one of those doesn't play very much as far as the minutes are concerned.
No, and it takes a special group to do that, to come out and not have any excuses and continue to play at a high level.
7-4, Marymount on top here. Kiavana Lacey got an opening all the way to the basket, puts it up and in. No one picked her up. She dribbles right through the Knights defense, and now it's a 9-0 run for Marymount.
You know, and this is what we've seen the Knights fall into over the past couple games, is giving up big runs.
Just kind of got out of sync in a hurry. They work it into Cleveland. She fires the jumper and hits. Boy, Southern Virginia really needed that basket.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be the soft spot in the Marymount's defense. And if Crystal can keep on hitting those jump shots, she's 2 for 2 from that same spot. It could be a big night for her and for the Knights.
See if Marymount continues to try to drive it inside, or if they fire any three-pointers here. Here's a 3 on the way, up and good by Hurst. 12-6 now, Marymount. Marymount showing they can dribble it inside and shoot from outside right there.
Yeah, the deadly combination.
Steal. Belliston trying to get it into Cleveland, threw it right to Hurst. Nice pass, and the layup is good by Laus.
You know, and we can't emphasize enough that live ball turnovers turn into fast break points.
And so now here's Conger trying to get it back with a 3, but she can't hit from outside. E&B with the rebound.
Nice offensive rebound by the Knights there, realizing that Marymount's gone into a zone. It's really hard to rebound out of a zone, so if the Knights crash, they should find openings.
And Marymount with a couple of subs into the game. Nicole Mancuso, she is a freshman. .47 to go, 14-6 lead here by the Saints of Marymount. Also into the game is another junior, that is Destiny Welch, the guard. Kuroki will take a travel before she tries the shot attempt from the right corner. It's a couple of travels here in the first half early for Ann Kuroki.
Yeah, too many little hops on that jump shot attempt.
And now Morgan Hartvigsen will check in to the game. First sub for the Knights, who trail by 8.
We're having some clock issues, Jim, tonight. Don't have the same crew that's usually here when we have double headers, so learning curve.
14-2 run, though, right now for Marymount. They trailed early 4-0, Mike, and now have an 8-point lead.
You know, in the first minute and a half looked really, really nice for the Knights. They were in control, they were rebounding, they were getting back on defense, and they were finding the soft spots in the zone.
And Marymount was the one committing the turnovers, not the Knights.
Yeah.
But it's been a different story the last few minutes. Nice backdoor pass to Lacey. Ball's on the floor, picked up by Marymount. They'll fire a jump shot and hit another 3, that time by Hurst. Suddenly, and it's an 11-point lead for Marymount.
Boy, that causes a lot of problems if you can hit backdoor cuts and
another
hit 3
turnover,
shots.
Mike. Lacey's got it, doesn't really have the numbers, so she's going to have to slow this one up. But another turnover for the Knights. They're starting to pile up here in just really the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and they average over 29 rebounds a game, turnovers a game. So, you know, this is not anything that we hadn't seen before, and we were hoping by this time of the season it would come down a little bit.
Moving pick is called. That one on Lacey. First team foul. 17-6, still an 11-point lead from here for Marymount. Knights looking to get some offense. Crystal Cleveland's got a couple of baskets. I'm not sure she was expecting that pass. Gives it back to Hartvigsen now. Morgan trying to get it down low, but she threw it away. Just not a good pass again, trying to get it down low to Crystal, who just really is not open for that kind of pass.
And taking one more dribble toward the baseline would just make that pass, that entry pass, just so much easier for the Knights if they would. Again, I know they want to try to get it in quickly to her before she gets double teamed, but that one more dribble would just be monumental to their success.
In addition to making the right pass, Mike, to try to open things up inside for Crystal, how about the importance of firing those three-pointers, whether it be maybe Hartvigsen or perhaps Conger, who's missed on a couple of threes already?
Yeah, we've already seen, and you made the comment that it looks like every time they go and throw the ball to Crystal, 2 people are coming at her. In order to keep them off of her, they're going to have to hit some outside shots. And we know that they have several people capable of doing it. We just haven't seen it on a consistent level.
Interesting the way things also have developed here in the last few weeks for the Knights, with more playing time initially for Jamila Gambi and Larissa Conger, and less playing time early on for Melinda Bourne and Tavani Alfatasi.
Yeah, and again, that's just a coaching decision. We don't know if there's any sickness or injury or what may happen.
Crystal Cleveland gets the steal. Knocks the ball away near midcourt. See if the Knights can take advantage of the basket here. And they need one, down by 11. Cleveland throwing it inside to Kuroki. Kuroki tries to save it, and it's stolen away by Marymount. Tough pass for Crystal to try to get it to Kuroki, and a fast break, layup up and in by Miranda Crott. Now it's 19-6 Saints.
And that's just the Knights not getting back, not paying attention to those people sneaking out and getting behind them.
Well, Marymount came in with 12 wins overall, 8 in the conference. Here's Kuroki, baseline, missing a shot from about 5 feet away. Conger tries to save it. She does to Crott. And now here comes Marymount.
And Lacey has been the catalyst for Marymount all night long, whether it's rebounding, running the break, or finishing down off their set offense.
And Hurst, I believe, is the one really firing the threes as Cleveland steals the ball again on the floor. And are they going to say Crystal maybe rolled and traveled?
I think they called a jump ball.
Jump ball, apparently. And it's going to be Marymount basketball. Lacey will inbounds. 12:34 to go till halftime. 19-6. And an open look and a foul by Conger after the inbounds pass came to Kiki Laus, and she was wide open, and Conger had to foul her to stop the easy layup.
And there's a lot of subs came in there for the Knights. Miscommunication on who was guarding who. That's something that is very easily fixable.
Boren came in as Laus misses the first foul shot. A 19-2 run by Marymount after they trailed early 4-0. Now on top by 13. And the second foul shot is good, and now suddenly it is a 14-point lead for the Saints. Knights need some offense. Belliston fires the three. Air ball out of bounds.
And it looks like the Marymount's trying to get as much distance as they can while they're still fresh.
Yeah, they don't seem to be really slowing it down and trying to run as much clock as you might think with a team that only had 8 total players on the roster. If they've got the numbers, Mike, we've seen plenty of layups in this first half from Marymount.
Yeah, again, they're trying to get as big a lead as possible, because if they do start to slow down, they know that Knights have a numerical advantage, so they want to get as big a lead as possible. The Knights really have to do their duty on the offensive end to score some points to keep them close.
Miscuso passing inside now, outside for Hurst, and that time she misses the 3, but a rebound for Marymount on the offensive glass. Out to Lacey. Hurst has a couple of threes, almost got that one to go down. Nice pass to Lacey. She's fouled from behind by Gamby, as Lacey, after throwing the ball to Hurst, broke for the basket, and Gamby was in her wake, forced to foul her to stop again on an easy layup attempt.
You know, and they're using the aggressiveness of the Knights defense against them. We've seen a lot of backdoor cuts for layups.
Lacey's first foul shot up and good. Lacey averaging 14.5 points a ball game. Saints have their biggest lead at 15 points right now at 21-6. Second shot on the way, and now it is a 16-point lead.
You know, and if this is how Lacey plays all the time, you can see why they're 8-4 in the conference, and especially how they beat Christopher Newport by her putting her team on her back.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Hackett from Salisbury maybe being the best player in the league. Have you seen enough to talk maybe about a first-team Capital as Conger nails a 3? I was thinking Lacey, boy, I wonder if she's good enough to make first-team Capital.
Oh, I think she is. I think there's no doubt about that, especially.
Did you put Sipe and Hackett both on there?
Oh, yes, sir. Sipe, Hackett, Lacey. I would love to have those 3, and then you and I can go out and play the other 2 and win a lot of games.
Well, maybe win one or 2.
Nice hustle by the Knights.
Knights almost get the steal. Marymount's got 6 on the shot clock, and they throw it away. So good defense by the Knights to force that turnover.
And Lacey didn't get a very long rest.
Not at all. And hopefully that 3 by Conger will step up the Knights offense. They're down by 13 here.
Again, the Knights need to stay as close as possible during this first half, and hopefully that the Saints start to wear down in the second half and the Knights can use their numbers to finally pull ahead.
Melinda Boren trying to get involved in the offense, floating back and forth in the paint. As is Cleveland. Now Boren's baseline to Cleveland. Nice defense by Marymount to break up that pass. Lacey on the break. Doesn't see the numbers, so she'll back it out. So she's fast, but she's also pretty smart. Here's Crott. Off to Louse, and she can't hit. And Belliston with the rebound. Fast break to Conger. The pass got through a couple of defenders. Conger double team, tries to get it back to Belliston and almost throws it away, but it's knocked out of bounds by Hurst. You know, Crystal Cleveland deserves at least a look at a first or second team Capital Conference with almost a double-double as far as points and rebound average.
I'm sure when the voting comes from the coaches, she'll be right there. First team, second team, no doubt. First team could be. So she finishes off this season strong. Again, right now she's averaging a double-double over the last 5 games. If she continues to do that, I don't see how they could keep her off that first team all-conference.
Arfigson hits the 2-pointer after Cleveland got the offensive rebound. Lacey fast breaking the other way, fouled by Kuroki.
You know,
you wonder what Crystal's been like here in the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, if she's averaging, 11 and 9 points and rebounds, maybe even more, obviously, in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I know last game she had 16 and 16 or 16 and 13, and that's what Crystal can do if the Knights hit some outside shots to keep people off of her.
She got off to a real slow start in November, December.
And a lot of that had to do with she felt the weight of the team on her. Not a lot of jump shots going down and just trying to press way too much.
Here's a pass inside. Afatazi with some good defense to stop Kane. Kane got her own rebound, though, and backs it out to Lacey. 11-point lead for the Saints. Knights trying to get a little closer with some good defense. Here's a jumper by Crott, no good, and Boren's got the rebound. Belliston went right around her defender. Here's Hartvigsen open for a three. Hits. Oh, good run here, Mike, by the Knights.
Very good run, and you can start to see how Marymount's starting to slow down also. The first thing to go is your legs, and when your legs go, jump shots start being much harder to make.
So what do you anticipate in the final 9 minutes in this first half from Marymount? They're only going to break when they've got the numbers. Otherwise, they're really going to try to milk the shot clock a little bit, maybe?
Well, I would see them going down and trying to run their set offense and taking the first really good available shot. Hopefully the Knights can keep on putting a lot of defensive pressure on them and some offensive pressure by coming down, reversing the ball, make them move on the defensive end. That'll wear them out also and get some great shots on the inside or on the outside now with Morgan out there able to hit that three.
By the way, a doubleheader coming up for the Knights men's and women's team. Coming up on Saturday here from Knight Sports Arena, the Barn, it'll be Penn State Harrisburg coming to town in both games. Mike, men's and women's games should be a very winnable game for the Knights as Harrisburg in women's action. They have won just 3 games in the conference, 4 overall, and their men's team is 2-9, 3-9 in the conference right now, and 3-16 overall in the season.
Yeah, this is a big weekend coming up for them, but we don't want to overlook the games tonight.
Yeah, the Knights men's team playing at Marymount tonight. Here is Kane with a drive. She is fouled, and Samantha Kane will go to the foul line. And baseball will start next Wednesday.
Baseball starts
weather
next
permitting,
Wednesday.
obviously.
Exactly.
But as you mentioned, it doesn't. Unless there's rain or snow, most likely, or maybe some wind, I guess they'll play.
They'll be out there, and I know they're counting down the days, ready to go.
A lot of expectations, high expectations for this men's baseball team.
Very high expectations. They in the CAC, they were picked to come in last based off of last year.
Yeah.
But Coach Mann has brought back a lot of players, plus a lot of players have come in from other programs to help build this up. And I've talked to Coach Mann, and he said that his first 9 can play with anybody.
Really? So you expect them, despite the low ranking, not to sneak up on people? Most coaches in the Capital Conference will know how good the Knights will be?
I think after the first couple weeks, they'll wish that the Knights were back to form from last year.
Well, Fatazi, nice scoop shot, but she couldn't get it to go. Back the other way, Marymount on a break, and now Hurst will slow it up. So it looks like, unless Marymount's got a fast break layup attempt, they're going to try to work the clock a little bit. Pass down low to Kane, almost thrown away, picked up by Marymount. They've got the rebound, though. It is Crott with it, and she kicks it back outside to Lacey.
But again, you can still see the tired nature of the Saints from Marymount.
Crott got double teamed. And a foul is called on the Knights.
And this is the one thing we really didn't want to see. 7 fouls already on the Knights. Marymount's in the 1-and-1. Now they're really, all they have to do is look to attack the basket every time they go down on the offensive end and get to the free throw line and get some extra rest.
Samantha Kane was the one who got fouled, and she hits the first foul shot as Conger checks in off of Tazi checks out. Yeah. 10-point lead after the Knights had gotten the lead down to 8. Missed on the foul shot. Rebound Hartvigsen. See if the Knights can get a bucket to pull a little closer here, down by 10. Hartvigsen thought about taking a long 3. Gives it over to Belliston. Missy over to Conger. Back to Belliston. Looking for an opening. Shot clock now 8. Hartvigsen inside. 3 seconds to call. 3 seconds on the Knights with the shot clock rapidly winding down, too. Don't see too many 3 seconds calls.
We don't, but again, we've talked about this earlier. Every referee crew have their little pit calls that they're going to call. Hopefully we don't see a lot of calls on the free throw line of getting in the lane too early.
Nice shot by Marymount to up that lead to 12. I don't know if with the 3 seconds, if it's just something they like or if they'll see it, maybe not call it the first 1 or 2 times and say, well, that's enough. I got to call that one. If the same player or same team, obviously, is doing it over and over again. Here's a pass down low to Crystal. Up and missed a shot inside. Got her own rebound and couldn't get the follow shot, but she's fouled and she'll go to the foul line. This seems to me like Crystal has not been going to the foul line as often this season as in the past 2 seasons.
And a lot of that has to do with her not really receiving the ball in areas that she can get one hard move to the basket. We've seen her a lot of times the pass is entered into an area that she really has to try to make one or two dribble moves, and by that time, people have collapsed on her because they know if we leave her one-on-one, that's a 90% win for her.
And Crystal missing the first foul shot. Crystal came in averaging, shooting-wise, about 49% from the field. Last I checked, she was around 45 or so for the foul line.
Yeah, and, I know she shoots free throws all the time in practice. But, again, shooting them in games are totally different.
Got 1 out of 2, and the Knights try to get the steal. They do. Kuroki to Belliston. The Knights down by 11. Looking for a fast break to Conger. Baseline jumper. Couldn't get it to go. Almost an air ball, and Marymount's got the rebound. Lacey, nice pass ahead to Louse. And now Marymount will slow it down, set up the offense. Lacey working on Conger. Went right around her. Nobody picked her up. Nice pass to Crott, and Crott is called for a travel. I'm surprised Lacey just didn't take that all the way in.
I am very surprised.
She went around 2 defenders. Looked like there was a lot of confusion out there.
Yeah, and you see
who was going to check her.
Marymount runs about the same offense over and over again. It's a little pass to the high post, backdoor cut, or cut through, and then a screen and roll on the wing.
Sometimes, I guess, Mike, you can just look to pass a little bit too much at times. Right?
Sometimes you can. I'm sure if we talk to the Marymount coach, they'd say that Lacey is
unselfish.
Unselfish to a fault.
Yeah. Valerie, Arkansas into the game. And now it'll be Hartvigsen checking in, replacing Arkansas.
And 8 seconds on the shot clock. Hopefully the Knights have talked to each other and recognized the low time.
Down by 11. I know they would love to get this down to maybe 4 or 6 points by halftime. Just over 6 minutes to go till halftime. And almost a shot clock violation. Belliston just got that shut off. She misses it. Fast break, Marymount. Hurst walks with the basketball. A turnover for Marymount, maybe because they're a little bit out of control on the break, and now the Knights will get it right back.
And that's one thing that if you're not used to fast breaking all the time and you think it's there after some easy opportunities earlier on in the game, it kind of pulls you out of your comfort zone, and it looks like that's where Marymount is right now.
Belliston almost walked, gets it over to Kuroki. Now down low, Cleveland wide open, lays it up and in as Crystal scores again to make it 26-17.
And great seal by Crystal, and with Morgan throwing the ball away from the defender.
I believe Crystal might have 7 now. Here's Lacey outside with it. 9-point lead for Marymount. Kane working on Crystal, double teamed, almost lost the ball. It is Hurst down the lane, back to Kane. She's fouled by Crystal. Nice pass by Hurst. They really do a great job, Marymount does, with interior passing.
They really do, and again, with only a few players, you really break down your offense in practice, and you go a lot of 3-on-3, 2-on-2 situations, and you can tell that they've really practiced that. The Knights, though, have done a pretty fair job with defending screen and rolls a lot.
Based on your experience a couple of years ago, a lot of people will say, 8 players, you had 7. A lot of disadvantages, and people will say that team's outnumbered. But, are there advantages to having just that many players in the roster and not that much more? I would imagine tightness, everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows that they're going to play, and they really work harder, I think, because they know I've got to do a little bit more.
Hartvigsen hits the basket. Knights get within 7 now. And Lacey almost lost the ball. Timeout is taken by Marymount.
And that was a great little pull-up jump shot by Morgan that we'd want to see more.
Yeah, you'd love to see Morgan not just fire those threes, but as you mentioned, I think repeatedly, forego the 3, maybe pump fake and take that little 10, 15-footer.
Yeah, that'd be great because, again, a lot of people know her just for shooting threes. They come out at her hard. A little shot fake and one dribble could get her within 15 foot, and we see that she has a really good shot.
And right now it is a 7-point lead for Marymount. The Knights jumped on top early 4-0. Marymount went on a huge run. to take a 19-6 lead. I believe they've got that lead to 15 points, and right now it is 7.
And again,
Knights have 12 turnovers so far, Mike, in this first half. I don't know if that's the deciding number, down by 7, but it's one of them, certainly.
It's one of them.
Lacey is fouled by Conger, who got burned on the inbounds pass and was forced to foul her from behind.
And Marymount just said, our man's faster than yours. We're just going to throw it down and see who can go get it. Again, Larissa tried to do everything she could to stay up with her and reached out and grabbed her at the very end, causing the 1-and-1.
You look at these numbers, Mike. Only 3 Knights have scored. Cleveland has 7. Hartvigsson has 7. Conger has 5. No one else has scored.
And
4 turnovers for Ann Kuroki in 14 minutes that she's played.
And again, we've talked about this where 1 or 2 players will play really well and is a different player every night, and we're still waiting for 4 or 5 players to have that breakout night.
Yeah, the Knights right now 8 of 18 from the floor, out rebounding, 12-10 edge over Marymount. Just those turnovers are killing them.
Yeah, and they're not even dead ball turnovers that's causing the problem. It's the live ball turnovers.
So 9-point lead right now for the Saints. Marymount trying to hold on to this lead before halftime, Mike. Obviously, the Knights would really like to get it down perhaps to 2, 4, 6 points by halftime.
Yeah, and with 5 minutes, plenty of time to even tie it up.
Belliston lost the ball, but there's Hartvigsson able to save it. 10 on the shot clock. Morgan will fire, and it rims out. Tough miss there. Swarming defense. Stolen away by the Knights. Picked up by Hartvigsson. Gets it over to Belliston. Now to Crystal. Spin move. Shoots. Scores. 9 points now for Crystal Cleveland.
And that's some of the...
And Lacey all the way. Hits and fouled by Crystal. Crystal just could not get there to get position for a possible charge on Lacey. And Lacey showing that speed, Mike, getting the layup, and now a chance at a three-point play. What a big shift that was after the Knights basket.
Yeah, and Crystal hustled as fast as she could down there. Lacey's just a little bit quicker. But that's where the Knights need to get the ball to Crystal and create that type of space for her. And again, one-on-one situations, Crystal can do a lot of good things.
Lacey's basket makes it a 9-point game after the Knights had pulled within 7. Afatazi checks into the game for Crystal, who's now got 2 fouls. Lacey trying to complete that three-point play after the layup, and she does. 31-21. And I believe Lacey's got 11 now. Leads all scorers.
Yeah, and she's doing it kind of effortlessly.
Hartvigsson got the shot to go from inside the arc, and Morgan Hartvigsson scores again. She's got 9, so Cleveland's got 9. Hartvigsson got 9. Knights get with an 8 again.
You know, and again, there's Morgan with that in-between game that we've been looking for her to show all season long. 3
players now have 23 points. Only 3 players on the Knights roster has scored so far tonight. Here's Lacey unchecked on a drive to the basket. She scores again. She's got 13.
And she's just showing off all her skills tonight.
I'm not sure if it's the speed or maybe there's a lot of confusion about who's going to pick her up as she drives to the basket, Mike.
I don't know. They're running her off a lot of picks, and I don't know if they're trying to switch those screens or if everybody's trying to fight through them.
Afatazi couldn't make it. The shot and the fast break. Another layup, this time by Laus. And the Marymount Saints pull out to a 12-point lead now.
And every time the Knights seem to cut it down to single digits, Marymount takes a little bit of a run.
Oh, Morgan Hartvigsson had a good look at a 3, but it just couldn't get there. And Marymount grabs the rebound, and now the Saints will slow it down with a 12-point lead. That was a big stretch after the Knights had gotten to within 7, Mike, as the Saints pull it back out to 12 and have the basketball. Hurst down low to Kane. She got free, puts it up and in.
And that's really good footwork. We've seen that move from Crystal Cleveland a lot in the past, and maybe she's learned that from Crystal.
Belliston shot blocked by Lacey, but they're going to call Lacey for a foul, and I think she admits that, yep, she did get Missy Belliston. So Belliston will check out at the foul line, a chance to break into the scoring column. She has yet to score tonight.
And it looks like they're going to call it on the pass, that Missy was trying to pass it instead of shooting.
So no foul shots coming up. That's just the third team foul, by the way, on Marymount. a marked foul difference. Number of fouls, Knights have much, much more than Marymount. Kuroki passing to Belliston off her fingertips. Just some miscommunication there between Ann and Missy.
And Marymount's playing that really compact zone. So not a lot of chances to foul. The Knights, again, playing that up-tempo, in-your-face, gambling defense, and we've seen that all year long, and that causes the accumulation of excessive fouls.
Then a timeout is taken. 37-23 now. Marymount by 14 after the Knights, Mike, had gotten within 7 at 28-21.
Yeah, and again, we don't want to see live ball turnovers, so we saw a dead ball turnover there, so now the Knights are able to set their defense. But we don't want to see the Saints go on another little mini run, a 6-0 run, which would give them a really commanding lead at halftime.
And Coach Heather Roberts, after Crystal picked up her second foul, got her out of the ball game, didn't want to pick up a third foul in the final few minutes, apparently, of this first half.
Yeah, again, that's what a lot of coaches will use by their rule book. To pick up 2 fouls in the first half, we're going to sit you down. Again, though, sometimes you have to gamble and just say, all right, Crystal, you're a junior. You've played a lot of basketball. You can't foul, but we need you in there for rebounding and offensive purposes. When she went out, the Knights kind of didn't fall apart, but Marymount went on a little bit of run because you didn't have that anchor in the middle.
Yeah, last we saw, Crystal had 9 points, I believe 6 or 7 rebounds, so she's well on her way to a double-double, but she's out of the ball game right now.
Yeah, and some of the fouls that she picked up, the 2 fouls she picked up, really were hustle fouls, trying to get back into position, and you can't fault her for that. She's not fouling people 90 feet away from the basket, so it was just good, hard basketball plays.
14-point lead for Marymount. Here's a jumper outside, up and in. Rolls around by Viscuso. She scores 39-23, and suddenly the Saints have a 16-point lead. That's their biggest lead so far tonight, after the Knights had cut the lead down to 7. And a steal by Crott. Crott trying to get up court after stealing the ball, walk with it. And that was a fortunate break for the Knights, who were in danger of going down by 18 or 19.
And Marymount switched their defense up again from that zone back to man, caught the Knights unaware, and they were able to just dive into the passing lane.
16-point lead right now for the Saints with 2:15 to go till halftime. Belliston works on Lacey, tries to pass it down low for Bourne. Pass really not there, trying to pass through a double team, Mike. And again, the Knights fortunate that they still have the basketball with 22 on the shot clock.
We've seen this with a lot of teams, ours and other teams that have come in. Sometimes the players run the play just to run the play and not do anything that is actually there.
There's Belliston to Kuroki. And starts, goes right side to Hartvigsen, and she hits a big three-pointer. Morgan Hartvigsen, in addition to Crystal, having a great first half scoring-wise. But there's a open pass up court to Crott, and she had a good look at the layup before she was fouled, and that's free throws coming up here for Marymount after the Knights cut that lead down to 13.
Yeah, that half-court pass was very surprising. Caught the Knights napping as she caught it right in the middle of 4 different Knights.
I believe Morgan Hartvigsen, I think she's up to 14 now for the first half.
And she's having just a fantastic game. Again, now that she's hit a couple shots from the 15 to 12-foot range, they can't close out on her as hard as they want to, and that's opening up the 3-point range for her.
Just a sophomore. I know that she is a great shooter at times. I'm not sure it's a confidence thing or she just doesn't want to shoot too much. But what can you envision for her in her final 2 years here, and if she plays obviously 4 years for the Knights?
Well, as she continues to grow as a player, we'll see more of that shot fake and drive. We'll see her hopefully create a lot more contact as she can get into the driving range.
Yeah, you don't see her really drawing contact and going to the foul line too much.
That's the next step in her progression.
Knights down by 14. Trying to score, get it down low to Crystal, but the ball is knocked away and picked up by Marymount. Another turnover for the Knights, trying to get that ball inside to Crystal.
And you'd like to see Morgan maybe try to make the entry pass into her, because they can't slack off on her because she's already hit some 3-point shots.
Lacey's pass stolen away by Kuroki. Knights really need a basket down by 14 here as we close in on halftime. Belliston works on Lacey. Tough assignment tonight for Missy Belliston with Lacey guarding her, and Boren is called for a travel. She just can't get her game going here since she didn't start tonight and came off the bench.
Well, it seems like everybody is stuck in first gear except for Morgan and Crystal.
A 14-point lead right now, and now a travel is called on Marymount. So the Knights get it right back with 54.8 seconds left until halftime as Gamby checks in for Boren.
You know, and it seems like one mistake on one team causes the same mistake on the other team right now.
Each team having a problem with turnovers. The Knights just a tad more, and as a result, they're down by 14. Belliston looks inside, dribbles. Now she gets into a double team. Gamby gets it outside. Kuroki looking to break into the scoring column. She can't get the layup to go. Crystal with the rebound. She's fouled by Crott. And Crystal will shoot two.
And that was a great move inside by Ann. Just didn't finish it off, but Crystal following up. If she would have kept the ball up under her chin a little bit more, maybe would have got the and one.
Have to see what Marymount does, provided they get the rebound, or if Crystal makes them both. And she missed the first one, as there's a 4-second difference between the shot clock for Marymount coming up and the game clock. You wonder if Marymount will try to milk it all the way down to only 4 or 5 seconds left overall in the game clock.
You would think that, but we were wrong at the beginning of the game saying Marymount wants to go slow.
1 out of 2 for Crystal. She checks out, so she won't get a third foul here. Afatazi checks in, 40-27. Knights trail by 13, and they've got backcourt pressure. And Marymount almost threw it away, and now there's a travel. Laus apparently moved her pivot foot. She was stumbling. I couldn't tell really if she moved her pivot foot, but it was close.
I think she kind of slid it as she was trying to keep her balance from falling backwards.
And now the Knights have a chance, if they so desire, to play for the last shot of the half. A three-pointer would make it a 10-point lead. Here's Hartvigsson to Kuroki. Ann's going to try to fire, and the ball's knocked away, picked up by Lacey. Lacey, nice save. Marymount's got 10 seconds to work with as they weave the ball up court. It is Hurst to Laus with a jumper, and she misses. A tip is no good, and that is the first half. It is a 13-point lead for Marymount. Knights had a chance there, Mike, to play for the last shot of the half, maybe get within 10 or 11, but they go into the locker room down by 13.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities by the Knights missed, and then they created a lot of opportunities for Marymount in the very beginning of the game with a lot of live ball turnovers.
A great first half for Crystal Cleveland and especially Morgan Hartvigsson. Crystal, of course, had to miss some minutes because of foul problems. Had two, not a major foul situation, but they wanted to make sure she was available for the second half, and then Morgan Hartvigsson really stepped up her game when Crystal went to the bench.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see those two work on the same side, because now Morgan's hit a couple threes.
Right.
If they close out on her, they know that she can drive by her, so they can't really fall back onto Crystal, and there should be some open passing lanes there.
That's the good news. The bad news is you got a lot of players for the Knights, the key players, not able to score tonight so far, including Belliston and Boren.
Yeah, only 3 people in the scoring column for the Knights, and that's not going to win you a lot of games.
Turnovers, the big key. 17 first-half turnovers for the Knights. 12 first-half turnovers for Marymount. The Knights actually not shooting that badly. 44%, 11 of 25. 3 of 8 from three-point range. 2 of 4 from the foul line. That's another stat that jumps out at you. Only 4 foul shot attempts in that first half for the Knights. 16 free throw attempts for Marymount.
Again, the Knights aren't really attacking the zone that Marymount's playing. They're finding open spots and hitting some open jump shots. Marymount, on the other hand, we've seen them run that pick and roll over and over and over again and try to get to the rim and create a lot of contact. And
scoring-wise, the Knights were led in that first half by Morgan Hartvigsson. 2 3-pointers, 12 points overall. Crystal Cleveland had 10. Top scorer for Marymount in that first half, Kiavana Lacey. She was 5 of 6 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the foul line, 15 points, and also 2 assists.
Yeah, very efficient. All 3 of those players you talked about, just very efficient offensively, and put their stamp on the game, both offensively and defensively.
So the Knights trail here at halftime. Your halftime score here from the barn, from the Knights Sports Arena. It is Marymount 40 and Southern Virginia 27. We'll take a little break and get ready for second half action here in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. Jim Bresnahan, Mike Harmon. We are at halftime, 40-27 right now. Marymount on top of Southern Virginia, just minutes away from getting the second half underway. And Mike, what do the Knights have to do to overcome this 13-point deficit? I would imagine first and foremost is not have 17 turnovers in the second half.
If you're going to have 17 turnovers, make sure they're not live ball turnovers that lead to layups. So obviously taking care of the ball a little bit more. Better spacing to get Crystal the ball. Again, maybe have Morgan Hartmanson, who is on fire from the three-point line and from about 15 foot, have her be the one that makes the entry passes into Crystal. Crystal's smart enough that if she gets double-teamed, Morgan can relocate and be wide open for some shots.
Hey, quick check of other scores. Salisbury on top of Christopher Newport on the road. Salisbury came in 12-0 in the Capital Conference. Christopher Newport, 4 games behind, 8-4 in third place, but Salisbury is really handing it to him tonight.
Yeah, 54-38 at halftime, and that's with Hackett with 3 fouls.
Yeah.
4 for 4 from the field, so, and 1 for 1 from the line. So 9 points. Again, if she makes 9 points in the second half, she hits her average of 18. Sipe is 4 for 10. But it's really with Salisbury, it looks like it's being more of a team function. We have St. Mary's being beat by Mary Washington by 9-18, and York and Wesley are 18-17.
And a reminder that the men for Southern Virginia will be playing again tonight. They'll be playing at 8 o'clock at Marymount. And then, of course, Saturday we've got a doubleheader. We've got Penn State Harrisburg coming to town. The Lions struggling in men's basketball, struggling in women's basketball. So should be a good doubleheader coming up on Saturday. Both very winnable games for the Knights when it comes to men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, the Knights and the Knights fans could go away happy on the weekend. If the Knights can really settle down right now, they could go away happy tonight.
And I guess that leaves just 2 Saturday doubleheaders still to come. I know York is one of them.
York's one of them, and
St. Mary's. I think, yeah. We are ready to go here in the second half from the barn. Halftime score, Marymount on top by 13, 40-27.
Again, Knights had the ball in the beginning of the second half. Great opportunity to score first and set the tone.
And we'll see what kind of second half Crystal Cleveland has. She's got 2 fouls. And Morgan Hartvigsen, who had a big first half scoring-wise. Here's Kuroki dribbling to the basket. Nice scoop shot layup up and in by Ann.
And that's the first person to score outside the 3 of Conger, Cleveland, and Morgan Hartvigsen.
And Kuroki with her first 2 tonight. Team's second leading rebounder. But she's been struggling with her offense here in the last month or so. Kane passing inside. Marymount luckily to hang on to that basketball. Louse to Kane. And Cleveland had good defense. Good block by Crystal. Fast break attempt by the Knights. Conger almost lost it, and she slid her foot out of bounds. And that's a tough turnover for the Knights, who just made a great defensive play with a block by Crystal Cleveland.
Yeah, not only the block, but keeping it in bounds and almost converting on the fast break.
11-point lead, backcourt pressure by the Knights.
Not the whole court. In fact, I don't think they do anything at all.
Again, another clock problem here. But again, Crystal being able to block the shot, especially not picking up a foul late in the shot clock. Knights being able to keep it in bounds. That's almost looking like Bill Russell, keeping the ball in bounds and starting off the fast break for your team.
Knights almost feel inclined, it seems like, to want to really step up their defense, force some turnovers, try to get back into the game by forcing Marymount to have some turnovers.
And it'd be nice for them to get a couple easy baskets to get that momentum back on their side.
Marymount looks like they want to try to run as much clock here in the second half as possible. Lacey with a 3, and she hits it. Kiavana Lacey with a big three-pointer, 18 points now for the game.
And she's only missed 1 shot tonight.
Inside Crystal is fouled. Oh, they're going to call her for a travel. Tough call against the Knights. Crystal came up, bruised a little bit after hitting the floor, got double or triple team. Thought she got pushed, but the referee signals travel instead.
Again, the entry pass went in, 3 people collapsed on her. Looks like that she did get fouled, and the foul caused her to walk.
Very tough when you hit the floor, suffer that kind of pain, Mike, and then they have the travel call go against you as Hurst is able to score a layup to Move Marymount's lead back to 16 now, 45-29. Crystal the other way. Triple teamed again, lost the ball, picked away by Crott. Over to Hurst, and suddenly this game is starting to slip away from the Knights after they scored the first basket to get the lead down to 11. Now they are down by 16.
And they're notoriously slow starters in both beginning of both halves. Hopefully, again, Marymount starting to feel the effects of having only 8 people, and the Knights can capitalize on that.
Louse, foul line jumper buries it. Suddenly, it's an 18-point lead, biggest lead of the night so far for the Marymount Saints. And the Knights really need a run here, otherwise they risk being blown out as Crystal Cleveland scores. Let's see if they count the basket. They do. Chance at a 3-point play for Crystal. So Crystal's got 12 now.
Nice drive and find by Missy. Also, Crystal being able to hold her position on the backside, sealing out.
Arkansas going to check in for Hartvigsen. Crystal will try to get point number 13 tonight. And she hits to make it a 47-32 ball game. 15-point lead for Marymount.
She zoomed in a little bit for that shot and then popped back out. Yeah.
Here's Crott with it. Nice pass to Hurst. Misses the jumper, but there's a rebound for Kane. And she wisely kicks it back outside. Crott and Kane are both about 6'1" or so. That's kind of a good twin towers inside for Marymount.
And got some wide bodies to go along with that.
And Belliston didn't like that call. She got called for a foul down underneath the basket away from the ball and picks up the first team foul for the Knights here as Hartvigsen checks back in immediately for Arkansas.
And I think as she was trying to run around screen, she reached out and grabbed Lacey, tried to keep up with her.
Pass comes inside to Lacey, and Cleveland thought she got all ball, but they're going to say she got her either with the hand or the body. So Crystal just picks up her third foul. We'll see if she comes out of the game or stays in there.
You know, and with you being down by 15, you got to roll the dice and keep her in.
Lacey's foul shot is good. I think she's only missed one shot tonight, and she's been perfect at the foul line, 6 for 6.
And we don't have access to what her career night would be, but this has to be getting close to it.
And she hits again.
You know, most people come into the barn and they don't shoot well here because of the enclosed environment. She looks like she's embraced it. Maybe she could transfer here and play for the Knights.
Crystal spinning, missing inside. Looked like her first spin, she had a good shot, but she reversed the other way for some reason. Now the Knights forced to play some defense, down by 17. Here's Crott with a hook shot blocked by Crystal. Good defense by Cleveland again.
Great defense, holding her ground, letting the ball come into her hand.
Hartvigsen baseline. Shot off the glass and in. And Morgan Hartvigsen scores. And Morgan's got 14 tonight.
And that's where you'd like to see her draw a little bit of contact. She moved her body to go around the defender. The defender was inside the restricted arc, so that would have been a foul on Marymount.
49-34. Great hesitation by Lacey, but she couldn't get the rebound. But there's a follow up and in by Kane, who just ran into Belliston.
It looks
No
like
stoppage of play.
Kane comes up on the worst end.
And a turnover for the Knights. As Morgan Hartvigsen wasn't expecting that pass. Yeah, Kane looked like she got her head right in the back of Belliston's head, I think.
Yeah, and they're fortunate there because that type of headbutt collision can cause lacerations, and you know you never want to see that because that takes a player out of the game. Either for the Knights or against the Knights, you just never want to see a laceration happen.
And that last pass attempt up court by the Knights resulting in another turnover, and it's hard to come back from this kind of deficit when you have turnovers, even just if it's 1 out of every 2 or 1 out of every 3 trips down.
Very tough, especially now that Marymount is starting to slow the game down. This is what I expected at the beginning. They surprised all of us by going out and gaining that lead by running, and getting some easy layups. Now we see them come down, starting to run their offense and turn it. And if they use 20 seconds on the shot clock for every offensive possession they have, it's going to be really hard for the Knights to mount a comeback.
Yeah, the Knights jumped out top early tonight, 4-0, but then it was a 19-2 run by Marymount to take a 13-point lead. I believe their biggest lead tonight has been 18. Right now it's 17.
And then some of the other scores around tonight, Wesley is up on top of York at halftime, and Mary Washington is on top of St. Mary's at halftime, 23-12. So a very low-scoring game at Mary Washington.
That Wesley York game, if it's just the top 6 making the Capital Conference tournament, that almost might be a play-in game. We still have a couple of weeks left to go in the season, but both teams are tied, I believe, going in tonight at 5-7 in the conference for 6th and 7th place.
Yeah, and that probably feels like a play-in game for both teams.
Here's Lacey over to Hurst, and she misses from 3-point range. Ball's not going to bounce. It's going to go to the Knights. Hurst had 2 3-pointers in the first half, but she's gone cold from 3-point range since her early 3-pointers. And right now the Knights down by 17 with the basketball.
And nice change of defense by the Knights, going from their man-to-man into their zone. Even though Marymount finally got a shot, it caused them to slow down a little bit more than they wanted to.
Kuroki fires a 3, and the ball crawls over the backboard. And Ann had a good look at a 3-pointer, just couldn't nail it. Knights trying to get a little closer, down by 17 here. Now they've got to come up with a big defensive effort as Hurst is double teamed. Gets it across the timeline. Viscuso back to Hurst. Knights trying to force the action, but Marymount doesn't look like they're going to have any of that. They're going to try to take as much time off the shot clock as it appears, unless they've got an open fast break. Now pass down low, shot up and in by Karat.
And that little curl from the high post down to the low post is just giving the Knights fits tonight.
19-point lead for Marymount. Biggest lead of the night for them so far, for the Saints. Hartfigson down low to Crystal. Over to Conger. Now Kuroki, top of the key. It's Belliston on a drive. Nice pass to Cleveland. She scores.
And we see when they step up to help on Missy, they can't leave Morgan Hartfordson playing on the same side as Crystal, so that's going to leave Crystal wide open. You have to pick your poison. Who are you going to leave open? Last 2 times they've left open Crystal. Nice
assist by Belliston there to make it a 17-point lead. Here's Hurst on the right side with Marymount controlling here, 53-36. Hurst to Lacey, baseline against Belliston. Jump shot, missed it. That's her second miss tonight. Shot on their follow by Viscuso is no good. Crystal gets the rebound ahead to Belliston. Here come the Knights down by 17. They could really use a basket here with 14 minutes to go in the basketball game, down by 17. Belliston, shot clock down to 10. Hartfigson threw it away. Lacey's got it, bumped into by Hartfigson. And I believe Morgan's going to pick up the foul there.
And it's starting to get into really crucial time for the Knights. Not when they make a stop like they just did, they really have to convert on the offensive end. These opportunities are going to get fewer and far between, and the rush and the feeling of anxiety will increase.
Boren checks into the game. Her first appearance in the second half. Only played 5 minutes in that first half, did not score. Lacey open at the foul line, passes on the jump shot. Down low, hook shot, up, no good. Ball knocked out of bounds. And it's going to go over to the Knights. I'll tell you one thing, they do let Crott and Kane play pretty physical inside, at least they have tonight.
They have, and at least but they've been consistent with that.
Hartfigson in the corner. Knights again with a chance to cut into a 17-point lead for Marymount. Shot clock at 10. Belliston to Kuroki. Got to stop on her defender. Layup. Oh, she left it short. Had a great look at a layup. on a good move to the basket, but just could not complete the move, Mike, with the layup attempt.
And it would have been nice to see her come to almost a jump stop and power it up.
Now the Knights continue to pressure the ball, but Marymount, once they get it across the timeline, set up that half-court offense, try to run the shot clock as much as possible. Kane to Lacey, inside, Viscuso, easy basket.
And again, not being able to take advantage of the opportunities of converting on the defensive stops that the Knights made may come back to haunt them.
Conger had 5 points early in the ball game, hasn't scored since. Now Belliston, down low, Boren, out to Morgan. Nice move, back to Boren, but the ball's tipped away, picked up by Morgan. Shot clock's at 5. Kuroki is called for another travel. She's got that habit here really the last 3-4 weeks of taking a big step before she dribbles with the basketball. She's picked up a few travel calls here recently.
And that's just, again, trying to rush and not being confident right now in your abilities. And there
Steal by Belliston.
See him trying to throw that play again, just throw it out there for Lacey to go get it, and the Knights have scouted it well.
Can be baseline. Over to Boren. She'll fire from her favorite spot near the top of the key and hits it. Big basket there. Cuts the lead back down to 17, 55-38. Hurst breaks the pressure to Lacey. And she'll back it out again. And Marymount will again try to take a little time off the shot clock here. And I think there's a shot clock problem because
there's no way.
It got down to 5, and it probably should be around 20 or so.
Yeah, there was no way that went down that fast. Although we could wish, because that would make Marymount have to shoot a whole lot faster, and we could get back down on the offensive end.
Yeah, it looked like maybe Lacey, I think it was, looked up and said, "What? Four?"
Yeah. So did Marymount's coach, and she was a great player for Marymount, knows all the tricks. She played for a Hall of Fame coach, Bill Finney, and she learned very well from him.
They've got it at 20 now, the shot clock. Here is a jump shot by Crott, up and in from the foul line. Miranda Crott is having, very quietly, a pretty good ball game for Marymount. 19-point lead. Cleveland outside to Boren. Down the lane. Shot good. And you'd love to see her get her game back to where it was maybe about a month ago, because she had some big games here at the Knight Sports Arena.
Exactly, and that's a complimentary scorer to Hartford and Crystal Cleveland right now.
Lacey, inside, pass comes to Kane. I think she got away with the walk. Yep, no, she is. Called for the travel. So the Knights with a Marymount turnover. Again, a chance to cut into the 17-point lead. But, Mike, the clock rapidly becoming a factor here. We're down to 11:04 to go with a timeout on the court.
It is, but the Knights can't really get into that much of a rush and try to force shots to happen. They really have to take advantage of, when they do get a defensive stop, let's make sure that something good happens on the offensive end. Conversely, they've done a better job of staying out of foul trouble this second half and not letting Marymount get to the free throw line to get some easy points.
Yeah, we talked about the standings in the Capital Conference for the women. In men's action today, leading the conference, St. Mary is 10-2 with Marymount and Christopher Newport 1 game behind. So the Knights men's team playing on the road tonight at Marymount, facing a team that has won 9 times in the Capital Conference. They are 15-4 on the season.
And anytime you go to someone else's place to play, you have to really think that you're starting out 10 points down. Marymount will have a great crowd there tonight, and the guys really have their work cut out for them.
6 second half turnovers so far for the Knights. They've got 23 turnovers now for the game.
And that's much better than what we saw in the first half, especially not a lot of live ball turnovers that have led to fast break points.
Crystal Cleveland, Morgan Hart-Vixen, 15, 14 respectively, 29 of the Knights, 40 points. And again, the Knights have only had 5 players break into the scoring column. Crystal, 15 points, 9 rebounds tonight in 23 minutes. And
I will guarantee that in the last 11 minutes, she'll get it one more rebound to make sure she has that double-double.
We talked about Sipe, Hackett, and Lacey. You wonder if Crystal will get some votes for first team Capital, at least second team, I would think.
Oh, I think she'll get some votes for first team. Her slow start to the beginning of the season in the first couple of conference games may be held against her, but these last couple games that she's been playing, the last 5 games, she's just really done a tremendous job.
Boren couldn't get the jump shot to go. That tough miss there for the Knights, who are down by 17. They try to force the action with the pressure, but Marymount breaks it. You know, another player for Marymount having a pretty good, solid ball game is Hurst, handling the basketball with the occasional 3 back in the first half.
Yeah, the pressure really hasn't done too much to rattle her.
Marymount continues to work that clock. Here's Hurst for a 3, and that one rims out. Nice rebound by Belliston. Again, the Knights with a chance to cut into a 17-point deficit. It's Gambio the way, fouled by Lacey. See if this will be a non-shooting foul before the shot by Jamila.
I think she's going to be going to the free throw line.
Yep, she will go to the foul line.
And this is someplace we haven't seen Gambia at very much this season, so good to see another Knight get to the free throw line.
Looking for her first points tonight. And she got the first one to go. Second shot by Jamila is up and no good. But there's a rebound for Crystal. Couldn't get the follow shot to go. Got her own rebound, puts it up. Oh, too strong. Gambie fights for the rebound, but saves it to Marymount. And a collision on the court between Crystal Cleveland and a Marymount player. Marymount on the break, and the shot is up and in by the Saints.
And they stopped the game to clean up the spot on the floor, as we saw 2 power players just go into each other.
I don't know if they just didn't see each other coming and ran into each other.
Well, there was a screen. Crystal was up pressing on the ball, and the screen that was set by Marymount was just tremendous. A lesser player, I don't know, would have got up from that. Crystal, though, bounced up really quickly, so that just goes to show how strong she really is.
And the Knights down by 18. Every time they try to make a run, Marymount just does quite enough, just enough, Mike, to stay ahead. Yeah, stay ahead by 18.
You need to start right now really dipping into this lead. By the 5-minute mark, you want to be down to single digits.
Pass to Boren, who's got a couple of baskets here in the second half. Now Gambie with it. Out to Ann. Kuroki driving right. She is shut off. Shot clock at 8. Boren outside. Gives up the dribble. Over to Belliston. Almost lost it. Now the shot clock at 2. And it's going to be Boren with a rim shot out. And Crystal with the follow shot. And she is fouled. And Crystal will shoot 2.
And so now she's at 11 rebounds and 5 offensive rebounds, and you can just see her confidence growing out there on the floor. I can get the rebound anytime I want.
Yeah, you wonder if Crystal is capable maybe of doing a double-double every game the rest of the way home.
I think she could. She has that type of physical talent, and we've seen her do it multiple times during seasons where she'll put 7, 8, 9 games in a row, making double-doubles.
Crystal's foul shot is up and no good. You know, she's got obviously some time left coming up next season. You wonder what kind of next season she'll have in the 15-16 season.
If she keeps on going like she has these last 5 games and continues this momentum, you know, we could look for her to be really scoring 20 points and get 15, 20 rebounds a game.
Crystal missed the foul shot. And Belliston gets the steal. Hands it off to Gambie. Gambie on a layup attempt, and she got the shot to go. And the Knights work the lead down to 16. But here's Lacey on a break, and she scores. Didn't take long for Marymount to get that basket back.
No, it didn't. And there again, we see that press that the Knights put on where no one's back guarding the rim, and Marymount found the advantage point.
Boren on a drive right side. Had the shot blocked. Bycroft fast break. Belliston breaks it up momentarily. Belliston and Gambie hit the floor. Picked up by Belliston. Here comes the Knights. Belliston with a nice pass to Cleveland. Passing back to Boren. Now over to Ann Kuroki. Gambie with it. Shot clock 17. Game clock 8:38. And there's a steal by Marymount. Those kind of turnovers just kill you, Mike, when you're down by 18.
They do, and we will really start to see now Marymount start to take the air out of the ball. The Knights are, once they do get a steal or a rebound, they're going to have to make sure that they score on the offensive end.
Destiny Welch, not a whole lot of minutes played for her tonight, but she's into the game right now. And Gamby gets the steal, and she's off and running against Welch, against Lacey. And Jamila Gamby scores. So Gamby with the layup. And a timeout, I think, is going to be taken by Marymount here with 8 minutes to go. Their lead is down to 16. Just the question, Mike, is there enough time and maybe enough Marymount turnovers in the final 8 minutes for the Knights to make this comeback?
Well, now we're going to see a real difference of style of play. We know that Marymount's going to slow things down unless Southern Virginia starts to press, and then they'll look to score quickly. Other than that, look for them to take the ball under the 10-second mark on the 30-second clock. We're going to look for the Knights to really get out and try to pressure the ball to create turnovers where they can get those live ball turnovers and turn into points for them.
It's got to be frustrating for Heather Roberts to see all these positives and try to deal with those kind of turnovers because they're averaging about 25 a game or so.
Yeah, well, I think they're averaging 29 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've saw in the first half, 17 turnovers, and that's just way too many to start off the game with. That puts you so far down that you spend so much energy trying to come back that you get to that last little point and you need that extra burst, and it's just not there.
Especially, as you mentioned, it would be bad enough if the turnovers were dead ball, but when they're live ball and they lead to 2 points the other way, that's like a double whammy.
Yeah, when you give up a layup, that's a 4-point swing, and we've seen that way too many times, not just tonight, but throughout the season. That's one thing that we really hope that the Knights can concentrate on and bring down.
Man, what's the latest on Salisbury and Christopher Newport tonight? Last it was about an 18-point lead, and looks like Salisbury still cruising.
Yeah, 20-point lead, 71-51 with 13-13 to go in the second half. St. Mary's is up. Mary Washington is up on St. Mary's 26-12, and Wesley is over York 37-31 with 16 minutes to go in the second half.
It's going to be interesting, Mike, to see how far Salisbury goes in the tournament this year. As you mentioned, there's a lot of heavyweights out there in D3 in basketball, women's basketball.
And it's really going to depend on their draw in the regionals and the super regionals.
Lacey missed the jumper. Gamby clears the boards. Over to Kuroki. Nice pass by Jamila running the break. And the Knights are suddenly now down to 14 as far as the deficit is concerned. Backcourt pressure. Kane ahead to Louse. And she gets it in the hands of Hurst.
And again, the goal is to get it to single digit by the 5-minute mark.
Hurst with it outside. Shot clock at 10. They get it down low to Crott. And she scores and is fouled as Ann Kuroki swatted her from behind. And Crott continues to have a pretty good, solid ball game tonight.
You know, and that's something that we would like to see the Knights do, trade threes for twos, whether it's a three-point shot or a and-one situation.
Conger checks in. Hartvigsen is out. That basket by Crott makes it a 16-point lead again for Marymount. And she completes the three-point play, and it's back to 17. 7:05 to go. Knights down by 17. Gamby to Boren. And Kuroki will fire and miss. Not going to bounce. Going to be Saints basketball.
And again, it's going to be, can the Marymount continue to break the press by the Knights, or can the Knights turn the ball over?
Marymount gets across the timeline. Really hard to see anybody steal that ball from Lacey sometimes, unless she really is hit from a double team and maybe from behind.
Yeah, she has the quickness and just the ball presence to know what she can do and what she can't do.
Hurst inside to Crott, shot up, no good. Rebound Knights. Knights almost need a basket here, but they get the turnover instead. Down by 17, really could have used a hoop there, Mike, and the turnover gives it right back to Marymount. Not only a chance for them to score here, but to run maybe 20, 25 more seconds off the game clock.
And that's what we talked about, making sure that when you have the opportunity to finish a play, to finish it.
And Viscuso scores inside, and now the lead is 19. I believe that's the biggest lead tonight for Marymount. Saints trying to win for the 13th time of the season, the 9th conference victory. Here's Belliston. Jump shot from the foul line, no good.
And I understand that, nice hustle by Jamila Gamby. And I understand you want to press, and maybe Crystal has a little bit, not the quickness that some other people have, but you got to have her in there because she's your offensive threat. And really, Morgan Harperson should probably be back in there too.
Yeah, you've got not just the offensive threat, but obviously rebounding and block shots. There's a steal by Conger. Conger stops, doesn't have the numbers, passes over to Gamby, and her pass is knocked away and picked off by Hurst. Leah Hurst with it. And a foul going to be called, I believe, on Conger outside.
Yeah, fifth team foul on the Knights. Again, they'll with this pressure that they're going to have to put on, it can come down to a free throw shooting contest for Marymount. If they can put the free throws in, they could win the game. If they can't, the Knights can sneak back into it.
Now you look ahead to the Capital Tournament, and you wonder if teams like Marymount and Newport and Mary Washington can handle teams like a team like Salisbury, basically.
Well,
and we're seeing that tonight with Salisbury on top big time over Christopher Newport on the road.
Yeah, and any night a team can just really gel and come together. The sixth place team could beat the first place team in Salisbury when you get to that tournament. You've seen enough basketball, the NCAA tournament, where the Cinderella teams come out of no place. It's just one of those fun things that even though you're ranked number one, any given night.
Crystal just picked up another foul. Lacey to the foul line.
Yeah, that's a 6-team foul for the Knights. The next one will put Marymount in the 1-1.
Crystal's got 4 now. You wonder if Salisbury can only go so far in the tournament, though, in the national tournament. If there are just certain teams in D3 in the upper echelons, I guess you could say, that are just heads above a team like Salisbury, or if Salisbury maybe has a legitimate chance, maybe at a D3 championship.
Well, realistically, I can see them getting past their regionals, but then you start getting into teams that have players like Hackett and Sipe in all 5 positions.
Right. Yeah.
And those are the teams that just are phenomenal. York was really good last year, had a great core of seniors to play with, and they made it past into the quarterfinals, and that was it.
Got to be frustrating when you talk about D3 sports when you're running into programs like that, much like a lot of the teams, maybe like Rowan in the New Jersey Conference, or even Wesley for that matter, having a good football season, then running into a Whitewater or Mount Union and just getting smoked in the playoffs. I mean, Wesley got smoked, I think, was a Mount Union, right?
Yeah, it was. And, again, it's great when you can make it into the Division III tournament.
But then when you get deeper into those tournaments, you run into teams where you go, wow.
Exactly. You learn really quickly the haves and the have-nots. And I don't say that to be disparaging or anything. But for some people, it's just great to make it to the Division III tournament. And if you win past just getting there, that's icing on the cake.
And the thing, at least for football, I don't know if it's the same for basketball, is each time you advance, you run into an extremely much more talented opponent.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Once you get past the regionals, and you get into that super regionals where you're getting into quarterfinals and everything, the talent level just gets ratcheted up.
Gamby missing the foul shot. Lead is 20 right now for the Saints. Knights trying to steal the ball. They do. Gamby's got it. And Jamila threw an elbow, and does she pick up the foul? Yes, she does.
Yeah, they called her for an offensive foul.
Trying to provide some space, she was, and they call her for throwing an elbow to get that space.
Yeah, we'll be doing baseball and softball coming up soon, and we'll see 2 of the elite softball teams in the nation in Christopher Newport and Salisbury. Salisbury made it to the finals of the Division III softball tournament.
So Salisbury is kind of like for softball, kind of like the Mount Union or Whitewater for football?
Well, they have been. They have been. Now, if you want to really see a dominant team, Salisbury's lacrosse team, men's lacrosse,
right?
They have been national championships multiple times. When they don't win the championship, it's amazing to them.
20-point ball game right now as Marymount works it across the timeline. And now the clock, a huge factor for the Knights, down by 20, and we're down to 3:55 to go in the ball game.
And right now, if Marymount just takes their shots, less than 10 seconds to go on the shot clock, there's no way the Knights can make it back.
Especially when they get rebounds like Crotch just got to make it a 22-point lead. Biggest lead of the night so far for Marymount. Gambee out of control, turns the ball over. You wonder if the Knights will start fouling here or just be content to play defense and let this one ride out.
Well, it looks like they're going to just play straight-up defense.
Lacey on a drive.
Nice block by Crystal.
Yeah, another good block by Crystal. She's got, I believe, at least 4, maybe 5 blocks in the game now.
Could be, and you know, she is a definite threat to come up with a triple-double for the Knights. Blocks, rebounds, and points.
There's Kuroki from the corner, and she can't hit. Gambee trying to go over the back to get that rebound. Picks up a foul. Is that her third, I believe? Well, Jamila has fouled out of a few games this year, and I was going to make the comment that she only had one, but now she's picked up 2 quick ones, and we still have 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and I think we see Morgan Hartson come in for right now.
So Hartvigsen is in to check in for Gambee. And Destiny Welch, junior guard, shooting foul shots here for the Saints, who are on top here 69-47.
You know, and this has to be a little bit disheartening for some of the girls that played last year against Marymount. Marymount had the Division III Player of the Year, and also their post player was all-conference, and both of those graduated and moved on, and I knew that some of the girls were thinking that, you know, we only lost to them by 15 last year. This will be the year that we can take them down, and seeing scores like this just has to be a little bit disheartening, and it all really comes from those live ball turnovers at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it was 82-57 in the game at Marymount back in December. Now here it's a 23-point ball game for Marymount. They've got a 23-point lead. Another turnover. Belliston gives it up, trying to get that ball to Crystal. Haven't seen the latest stats, but I believe Belliston's got 5 or 6 turnovers, and Ann Kuroki at last board had 7 turnovers.
And that's 2 of their better ball handlers to have those type of turnovers. Really, that can't happen if the Knights want to get into that top 6 echelon and get into the CAC tournament.
Belliston all the way for the layup, but couldn't get the shot to go. 25-point lead right now for Marymount. And they haven't made a whole lot of mistakes here in the second half, Mike, and they've done a pretty good job controlling the tempo and doing exactly what they want to do, playing with the big lead in the second half.
They sure have. And, again, took us by surprise in the first half how they jumped out to that lead by pushing the ball consistently and getting a lot of layups.
Belliston fouls Lacey, sending her to the foul line. Almost looked like a little bit of frustration there for Missy.
May have been. And, you know, that's just padding the stats for Lacey now.
So 25-point lead for the Saints. They led at halftime by 13. 40-27.
You know, just looking at the CAC website, and Lacey was the CAC Player of the Week last week. And looks like she's continuing that trend this week.
Certainly having a good game tonight as she hits the first foul shot. Not sure she's the player of the game for Marymount. Probably is, but you know, you can make a case for Crott or maybe hers too.
Yeah, they all really contributed just tremendously for their team. I'll tell you what, I'll take Sipe, Hackett, Lacey, and Cleveland and put you out there to play with them, and I'll be the coach.
I was going to ask you instead.
I'll tell you, we'll win a lot of games.
I was going to ask you instead, who's your 5th pick? If you had to make a 5th one, because we've seen some good teams earlier this season here at the Knight Sports Arena, including obviously Christopher Newport.
Stone.
Barry Washington. Yeah.
Stone from Christopher Newport is really just a very nice player, very complimentary player. And then from Wesley, we saw 2 players from Wesley just really step it up, score a lot of points, but also a lot of rebounds.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough for the coaches to really pick that.
There'll be a couple, maybe 2 or 3, or maybe even 4, as we just talked about there, that could be no-brainers.
Yeah, again, someone's feelings are going to be hurt because they're going to be left off that first team. But we've tried to say this before. This conference, the Capital Athletic Conference, is not just a one-trick pony. This is one of the most solid conferences from top to bottom for all sports.
Your player of the year right now? Would it be Hackett, Sipe?
I would still go with Hackett, because if we look at her turnovers versus her assist ratio, and when she doesn't score, she's setting everybody else up. And the way she just controls the game is just one of those things that makes her so valuable to her team, more so than just about anybody else.
29-point lead for Marymount. It started at halftime was a 13-point lead. Marymount has outscored the Knights here in the second half, Mike, 36-20.
And we saw the Knights get the lead down to 7 at one time, and then from that point on, the Saints from Marymount just has really continually and methodically increased the lead.
Boren can't hit from outside. Rebound, Marymount. Lacey's got it. Works it up court, and she does to Welch. Down to 1:20 to go.
And they'll probably will try to keep the ball in the hands of Lacey as much as possible.
And I think Vescuso is called for a walk there. Almost a double dribble too, but
and that's why you'd want to keep the ball in Lacey's hands as much as possible if you're the Saints. Again, these turnovers that are happening late in the game really don't mean a lot for the outcome of the game, but you know, live ball turnovers in the first half has really been the downfall of the Knights all season long.
Gamby almost got a great layup, but she couldn't get the roll on the rim, and now it's Marymount on a break, and they'll slow it up. Well, the men will be having a tough task tonight at Marymount, and when you look ahead to Saturday, Mike, Penn State Harrisburg comes to town again, both winnable games for the Knights. You know, they would love to get a doubleheader sweep on Saturday. Haven't seen too many doubleheader sweeps.
That would be great, again, not only for the teams, but for the Knights themselves, the Knights fans themselves, both here and watching, something that can possibly happen on Saturday.
Trot scores to make it 78-47. Hartvigson's been kind of silent here in the second half, and Afatazi is called for a travel.
And look for Marymount just to hold the ball right now.
Thought the way things were looking that Crystal and Morgan might both wind up over 20 points, but that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, they kind of slowed down, and Marymount made some adjustments to those two young ladies. And again, once you get down by so much, the energy that you have to expend to try to get back into contention just takes it away from your legs and from your game.
And so that's going to do it. Marymount a very dominant second half. They led by 13 at halftime, and they go on for a 78-47 victory. And with the victory, the Saints improved to 9-4 in the Capital Conference, 13-7 overall in the season. And Mike, the Knights now drop to 2-11 in the Capital Conference and 4-15 on the season.
Yeah, and again, we're looking forward to Saturday for both the men and the women being at home. You know, we wish the men good luck up at Marymount. If you are listening to us, please check out Marymount's website and see about the live stats or if they have a webcast and root our men on.
Otherwise, be ready for Saturday for a big doubleheader with Penn State Harrisburg. The Lions struggling in both men's and women's basketball, as are the Knights this season record-wise. So a very interesting doubleheader coming up for Southern Virginia on Saturday. It'll be, I believe, a 1 o'clock tip-off for the women, and then the men's game to follow.
Yeah, and again, the men are battling more injuries. I saw David Beatty. He's still here tonight. I don't think he's going to be playing with the Knights, and there he is walking right down this way. Going to be a tough road to hoe for the Knights tonight up at Marymount. Hopefully he gets well and better and back on the court on Saturday.
Well, I was going to say, the men had that big home win just about a week or so ago, but they have struggled to really find that winning combination, especially when you got injuries like that. Kevin Walker had that big home game about a week or so ago, and then he really struggled on Saturday on the road.
Yeah, again, trying to find that consistency, that combination. And that's what basketball is really about, is who is going to be the most consistent. You know you're going to have ups and downs and injuries and what have you, but if you're consistent throughout, that's when you have the winning seasons.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the barn, from the Knight Sports Arena. Tough night for the women as they fall to Marymount 78-47. And Mike, we've got the final numbers really quick. Anything really leap out at you as the Knights had 32 turnovers above their average for the season, averaging 29 turnovers. They had 20 at halftime and 12 in the second half.
Yeah, that's the big key, was the 20 in the first half, and not just the 20 turnovers, but 20 live ball turnovers. It seemed like that led to a lot of easy points for Marymount. Also, Crystal Cleveland, 14 rebounds, 15 points. Morgan Hartmanson, 14 points. Those
4
two
blocks
just,
for Crystal, too.
4 blocks for Crystal. Just a nice stat line for them, but really no other night really stepped up to help those two carry on tonight.
And obviously, it's still a learning experience for Missy Belliston out there. 0 for 5 from the floor, no points, and 8 turnovers.
Yeah, again, Missy's really trying to force things to happen. She's in that freshman doldrums where you know they're good, they know they're good, you don't play well, and you really want to prove something. And, you know, if Missy goes back and watches this game, all I could tell her is just, you're good enough, you're already here, just play the game, young lady.
4 Marymount Saints were in double figures, led by Kevonta Lacey with 25. Crott had 18. Hurst had 10. Louse had 12. So it's tough to overcome when you got a team as talented and experienced as Marymount with 4 players in double figures.
Yeah, and when they're shooting 52% from the field, that's just really tough. And, you know, 27 times they went to the free throw line.
Only 11 for SVU.
Made 19 of them. So anytime that you're a team and you can make more free throws than the other team shoots, it's going to be a good night for you.
That's going to wrap things up again here from Knight Sports Arena. Make sure you join us on Saturday 1 o'clock for all the action of a doubleheader as the Knights take on Penn State Harrisburg. Final score again tonight, it was Marymount 78 and Southern Virginia 47. For Mike Harmon, I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone.